Hey, Wheatfield, what's up? How y'all doing? It is your girl, Lottie, jumping in with another daily message on here on Tears and Wheat to Roll. We are, gotta take these glasses off for a second. Y'all know them little rings be doing something to me. We are a channeled messenger. If this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so glad to have you. I'm so glad to see you, to meet you. Mentally, whatever. Glad to have your energy. Glad you stopped by. It could be cooking like cold Crisco. Don't click off, don't leave. Stay, okay? It could get, a little minute to warm up. But we are a channeled messenger with the Most High God. We channel with the source of all of creation, which made everything by its infinite intelligence and binds us together by its breath of life. It's pretty much just that. So we look at all kinds of texts, scripture from across the plane. We study all kinds of religions to see how source has spoken to us. And stop, Sasha. That's my daughter's fur baby. She likes to rub her face on a tripod and push the camera all around when I get to channeling. I don't know why. It is a cat thing. I don't know. Anywho. But we look at all kinds of scripture. We look at texts from all across the plane, how the Most High has spoken to its wheat field over the ages, essentially. And we look at astronomy, nature. We look at the body. We look at everything and try to, see the consistencies of source across the plane. And we think about truly like the intelligence and honoring intelligence. Not to say that you need to go be a person that have 17 different degrees and all that stuff. That's not what this is. What it is just thinking about the tenets of intelligence and how it operates across, everything, and how intelligence has a word on everything. And there's a design to it all. And if we can think about the design and operate, decipher that mode of operation that intelligence uses to create all things, then we probably could be super great co-creators too. We could be co-operants or cooperants or just cooperate with nature itself and how it designs things and how it creates things, because we're all on a journey to manifest our own lives and kind of get through this life experience journey and to whatever you feel like is the end after all of this. Nobody knows, but I feel like the source is saying that we are supposed to be ascending, raising our vibrations, lifting ourselves up, right, overcoming the challenges in our life. And how we do that, as a man thinks. Ooh. This is my read for this week. We are going to be chopping and chewing through this. It's not very big, so it wouldn't even take me a week to read it. I mean, I could finish it in a couple of hours if I just sat and worked on it. I already had my 14-year-old read it, though. She read it. She's my last baby in the house, and, she's a adoptee. And sometimes she struggles with things that I just can't feel, I can't take the place of her birth parents. I can't take the place of, that space in her, and to overcome the thoughts and things that she has. We've been really teaching her about her mindset and strengthening her mindset. And I think that is just wonderful for any person in general, let alone someone who's struggling with issues like separatism or abandonment and things like that. A feeling of lack, something that you just don't have. Yeah, and that's not anything that any of us can feel, but we have to be understanding and compassionate, knowing that it is there, and it's something that she has to struggle with, that she deals with, and giving her the supplements and stuff like that can help fill in some of the gaps or get her to understanding, resolve the conflict, and give her comfort. Yes. Y'all know me. I gotta get that sip. I need to wake up. We definitely prayed. We gotta get in the mindset for that last one. We need another sip. We definitely got off to a late start. We stayed in bed for quite a while this morning. Upon rising, we just did not get up. We didn't feel like doing none of it. It was one of those days where we should have been doing our best despite what we felt like anyway. But we did do some work. I mean, we could do some work while we still in bed and be productive. But we still got up and began our production quite late. So we just gonna jump on into it. I need these spectacles because these eyes are so little tired. Okay, work with your girl. All right. This is So as a Man Thinketh, right? And it is by James Allen, the original 1902 edition. And I'm working on this chapter here. The effect of thoughts on circumstances. Man's mind may be linked to a garden which may be intelligently cultivated or allowed to run wild, but whether cultivated or neglected, it must and will bring forth. It must and it will bring forth. We are conscious beings. We are pure potentiality. What you think about, what you meditate on, what you put your attention and your focus on is what you will create. And oftentimes our mind is scattered and we therefore we create chaos and inconsistencies, right? Yeah. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein and will continue to produce their kind. So if you're not putting anything into your mind, you're not developing it, you're not cultivating it, you're not doing what, some thinking, it's not going to bring forth what it is that you really want to in terms of seeds, in terms of productive good seed. Yes. It will continue to produce after its own kind. So like we were just saying, if you're thinking on chaos and you're scattered and you're disorganized, then that's what's going to show up in your life. And that's another reason why we had her go through this book, because she does have a tendency to be scatterbrained and disorganized, and that is what she gets in her life. It's very hard to impact any person's will. That's why the Most High God says that we are to bring our will in alignment with His will. That's not something that the source does. The source does not change our will. Do you change our will? No, you do not. The source does not change your will. But what it will do is be patient for you to bring your will into alignment. And it uses the tears in your life as lessons to encourage you, to influence you to change your will, to come into alignment. Yes. Just as the gardener cultivates his plot, keeping it free from weeds and growing the flowers and fruits which he requires, so may a man tend the garden of his mind, weeding out all wrong, useless, and impure thoughts and cultivating toward perfection the flowers and fruits of right, useful, and pure thought. By pursuing this process, a man sooner or later discovers that he is the master gardener of his soul and the director of his life. Also reveals within himself the laws of thought and understands with ever increasing accuracy how the thought forces and mind elements operate in shaping of his character, circumstances, and destiny. Now that was a whole mouthful. It really was. We're going to have to break that down just a little bit. Okay, so we already could see, that was good. Cultivating the garden of your mind, right? Removing the weeds, the useless thoughts and impure thoughts, or whatever the case may be, things that are called against your nature, sentiments and thoughts against your nature. Weed them out. That's all he's saying. Get that stuff up out of there. By pursuing this process, a man sooner or later discovers that he is the grand master of his soul and director of his life. Yeah, so when we go through and we weed out all that nonsense, those sentiments and thoughts against our nature, you realize that you are the gardener of your soul, of your life. And you create all that is in your garden by how you tend to it. What seeds are you planting? What thoughts are you thinking? This is getting on my nerves. We having a real messed up hair day. Anywho, yeah, you discover that you are the grand master gardener of your soul. And so I think that goes really good because the purpose of this channel is tares and wheat to grow, right? So the tares are sown in with the wheat. And the grand gardener is the one that is going to come and rip out those tares. I mean, if you, your pseudo mind, don't know, you haven't really done the self-discovery into the kingdom to really come into alignment with the Most High God and to what the will of the Father is for your life. You know, however you see the Father is how you see the Father. This is not religion, it's spirituality, right? Your high is good. Your high is good. Your core, your gut. You know what's good for you. And you can feel, and then when you ponder on the thoughts that are in your head, like what is going on in here, like what am I thinking? Again, if you were to talk to someone else the way that you talk to yourself, would you be proud of how you spoke to them, right? What is in your mind that you're saying to you? When you purge out those impure thoughts or those useless thoughts, those things that are not, you know, able to push you to your highest good, then you can start to weed that out. And as you weed that out, you realize that you are the grand gardener, the master gardener of your own soul. You have the ability to transform and transmute and renew your mindset. And I believe that's what the source says that we are to do, is to renew our mindset on a daily basis. We are to meditate. To meditate on the word day and night, right? And if we are focused on what we are thinking, getting rid of that stuff, beating back your fear with faith, you know what I mean? Getting rid of those doubts, daring to just jump in and do it anyway, daring to believe in yourself, that you can do the good thing, the right thing, and that you can create that in your life. Come on with this thing. We need to get that sip. All right, now, next sentence. He also reveals within himself the laws of thought, revealing the laws of thought. Ooh, it's laws to, come on, Father. And understands with an ever-increasing accuracy how the thought forces and mind elements operate in shaping of his character, circumstances, and destiny. Woo, come on, Father. Thought and character are one. Thought and character are one. And as a character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance. Ooh, you mean to tell me you only discover your character through your environment and your circumstance? Oh, yes. Because you want to see who a person really is? Let them go through a season with you. You will see how they handle adversity. You will see how they run up against them challenges. Do they run, tuck tail, and hide? Or do they and cower in fear? Or do they stand up in faith and grab that their sword, the truth, and keep on moving? Do they pick up them rocks that's at their feet like David and face that Goliath? Huh? Or do they go run and cower? That's character. And the only way you're going to see that character is when you go through a season and see how they run up against them challenges. Come on, get back in here. Yeah. Thought and character are one. And as character can only manifest and discover itself through environment and circumstance, the outer conditions of a person's life will always be found to be harmoniously related to his inner state. So your outer state is matching your inner state. It is. So if your outer state is peaceful and harmonious and calm, you can relate to others and you can be productive and you can move through life, I mean, with like, you optimized. Oh yes, you ain't got to put in a whole bunch of energy again. We was resting in bed, but we was still getting stuff done. We was knocking on virtual doors before we even hit the flow. Okay? Because I know I ain't got to get up and extend a whole bunch of physical effort in order to get this here thing done. It's all about your processes and how you thinking about this thing. Come on with it. But if you don't see that, You look around you and it's chaos. The people that you are relating to are chaotic. They drama filled. Yeah, you know, everything is a story or a scenario. And it is like, okay, well, what you gonna do about it? I mean, is we all gonna sit around and talk about it, or is we all gonna get up and do something about it? Is again, because it's what is it be like, my week? What do it be like? You and only you know if your outside is matching your inside, because you can feel it. Again, don't hang around with the unlucky. Avoid the unlucky and unhappy. That's one of them 48 laws of power back there. Better read it. Think it's $20 on Amazon, something like that. It'll pay you back dividends. That ROI is good. That ROI is good on that one. Oh yes. Yeah, this does not mean that a man's circumstances at any given time are an indication of his entire character. No. But that those circumstances are so intimately connected with some vital thought element within himself for the time being that they are indispensable to his development. What is that saying, beloved? That's saying that what you think on the most is what you manifest in your life. It ain't your whole thought, right? Because no, you think about goodness and you think about, you know, overcoming and persevering. But if you are meditating more solely on or mostly on the things that go wrong, what went bad, who did this and this, that, and the other, you will call more of that into your life. If you think more so on what goes right and that the divine has uncertainty and certainty baked into its intelligence, oh yeah, you're gonna call in more goodness to your life. Is what are you resonating with? What frequency are you vibrating on? And that determines your thoughts, you know, and your feelings, your emotions determines your frequency, your vibratory language that you know. And you speak in a vibratory language to call things into your life, things that you vibrate with. Let that go one more time. We speak in a vibratory language, a frequency, based on our thoughts. And whatever you are vibrating with is what you call into your life. So the 48 powers, number 10, where it says to avoid the unhappy and unlucky, that is also in your thought process, beloved, not just people. Come away from the rumination of unhappy thoughts. You will meditate on that and you will call it into your life. Meditate on the good all the time, on the good. Even if it don't look good or even if it don't feel good. Again, these eyes don't see shit. These emotions are warning systems. They tell you something to pay attention to. Not for you to attach to it. Detach from the emotion. Recognize it, see what it is, and then move around accordingly. That's how you do that. Yeah. Every man where is by the law of his being. Every man is where he is. Every man is where he is. By the law of his being. By the law of your being. Just being. The thoughts which he has built into his character have brought him there. And in the arrangement of his life, there is no element of chance, but all is a result of a law that cannot err. Is this not saying that everything in divine timing and that the Lord in his infinite intelligence syncopates all things? There are no coincidences. I think we could say that that's sure enough approved and bonded, because it is right in line with the rest of our text, is it not? Come on, fathers, do it for your wheat field. I need a sip. Do it for your wheat field. I think I just dropped coffee all over, you know, these soup coolers. Come on. Sometimes we can be a little juicy. Don't hold it against me. Need your grace just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. But all is a result of a law that cannot err. The law of the infinite intelligence does not err. It doesn't. It does not err. Okay, there's no error in that. The law of intelligence is perfection. When I say pristine, I mean, if you don't think so, have somebody go and explain to you. I'm trying to call the name of this enzyme. I want to say transcriptase, but that could be wrong. I could be close, but not all the way right. Am I close? I know I'm close. I know for sure I'm close. But I haven't been down in that anatomy in quite a long time. And we talking about down into the DNA molecular level, okay? We are down in like when your cells are rewriting itself and that DNA code is carried and copied over. And if there is an error in that, the body has an enzyme, transcriptase, I want to say that is, but I could be really wrong. I keep hearing that, so I feel like that's right, but I'm not really for sure, so don't hold my feet to the fire if I'm not technically correct. But you will say, see, what is correct, is the fact that your body, the intelligence in it, has a system that will go back, erase that code if it's wrong, and rewrite it. Something happens with that cell, and for some reason the DNA code gets all wonked up when it's writing itself out like a little typewriter. When it's writing itself out, if something don't go right, it will go back, erase that, and correct the code. Yeah. Because it knows what it's doing. It's highly intelligent. I mean, this is happening in you all the time. You think we got backspace from... Yeah, no, backspace came out of you. It did, beloved. Your DNA code has a backspace. Your cells, all of that, reproduction and replication and renewance, has a backspace system that corrects the code. And if it somehow doesn't do that because the environment is so polluted that it's not operating correctly, it's breaking down the ability to operate naturally, cancers start. Yeah. That's the mode of operation. You get a group of cells, a cell that didn't correct itself, and then it replicates itself, and then it starts to steal the resources from the other cells because it is not naturally functioning. And wherever that happens at is where the cancer in your body ensues. If it happens in the breast, it's breast cancer. If it happens in the brain, it's brain cancer. In the bone, it's bone cancer. You can just keep going, and that's what happens. It is an anomaly that didn't get corrected, and it couldn't correct itself because something in the body, the environment of the system itself, was polluted, and it didn't allow proper functioning. But it wasn't like it wasn't built in. It was. This is just as true of those who feel out of harmony with their surroundings as of those who are content with them. Do you feel out of harmony with your surrounding? Because you can look at that in one and two ways. We just talked about the cancer of the body. And we can also look at us individuals. People, ooh, that's that Agent Smith. I love The Matrix. It's one of the most thought-provoking movies, I think. But Agent Smith, if anybody ever dug into the character of Agent Smith knew that he was an operant of the system. It had become aware that it was to do the source's will, the will of the source. And the will of the source for Agent Smith was for him to be a terror, to exercise control and to put pressure, right? That exercising of control and putting pressure and strife up against Neo actually developed Neo. Neo was on a path of self-discovery, and he was getting close to truth. And Agent Smith was deployed to stop Neo from getting to the truth. But Neo didn't cower away from it. He actually, despite an immense amount of fear and doubt, did Neo pursue and go further, to the point of actually freeing his mind and then being able to free others' minds, right? Those who were ready to be freed. I mean, because Cypher is a whole character as well. Those who do not wish to be free. They just don't. They would rather go back to the Matrix and and sit in the dream state and say, I know that this steak isn't real, and it is my mind that is telling me that it is juicy and tender and delicious. It is my mind saying these things. And what does he say? Ignorance is bliss. And his whole plot was to be reinserted into the Matrix. He did not want to know. There are a lot of people who just don't want to know. They just don't. And there's a lot of people who are in that Agent Smith. They are tears specifically designed to push you to your greatness. But Agent Smith also has a sentiment. It does not want to simply be an operant of the system. It itself wants to be free. It wanted to bring about the destruction of the whole system so that itself could be free, so that it could go back to the source. It did not want to play the game anymore. It didn't want to just go for deletion or recycling. It wanted to be free. And it would do anything to be free. Anything. Agent Smith would have tore the Matrix apart to be free. Now that's a whole word. I love that movie. It's so thought-provoking. Come on with this here thing. As a progressive and evolving being, a man is where he... As a progressive and evolving being, a man is where he is at, that he may learn, that he may grow, and as he learns the spiritual lessons which any circumstance contains for him, it passes away and gives place to other circumstances. We're going to do that one more time. As a progressive and evolving being, man is where he is at, that he may learn, that he can grow. You're at where you're at just so you can know that you can grow. Basically, that's it. So don't give up on growing, because that's why you're here, to grow, to ascend. And as he learns the spiritual lessons which any circumstance contains for him, yes, because every circumstance has the seed to solution. Every circumstance is the seed to solution, has the seed to the solution. Every tear has a testimony. Come on with it, Father. Yes, as he learns the spiritual lessons which any circumstance contains for him, it passes away and gives place to other circumstances. Why do we keep going thing after thing after thing? Because as soon as you get over one thing, here come another thing, here come another circumstance. Why? To grow you so that you can continue to learn. If you don't face another circumstance, you will become complacent and comfortable. And there is no growth in complacency or comfortability. Anything that's pushing you to your ascension is going to be uncomfortable, highly uncomfortable. You talking about that Agent Smith on your ass, on your head, morphing, flipping between people. You thought that was your sister standing next to you. She turned into a whole Agent Smith, and you didn't even know. Why? Because you the Neo of the family? Is that what it is, beloved? And everywhere you turn around, all of these people is acting like agents around you. You don't know whether they're trying to push you forward or hold you back or take you down. You don't know. You really don't. But if you dig into those lessons, you will see how you get pushed forward in order to just develop and just be. Come on with this thing, Father. Sometimes it be like cooking with cold Crisco. We had to get warmed up. Father had to turn on the heat. I scoop it out the container and throw it in the pan. But Father, come on in and turn up the heat. You know how it go. Then it get to, doing this thing, and we can show and put some nuggets on up in there. So if you still around here and you vibe so far, if you vibe, subscribe. Make the video a little small and hit that little red button. And if you really, 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 really got other folks that you care about and this message fits, share it out. I mean, that's what we here for. We don't do shit but chop it up. We read some texts, we get some books, we got crystals and cards. Father said we ain't doing cards today. I already asked. He said no. We gonna read. So, yeah. A man is buffeted by circumstances. So as long as he believes himself to be the creature of outside conditions. A creature of outside conditions? No. You are a product of the Most High God. You are the son of the source. You are held within creation. You are a piece of creation itself. You ain't no outside product. Come on, you ain't no creature of outside conditions either. No, you not. But when he realizes that he is a creative power, woo, yes, and that he may command the hidden soil and seeds of his being, out of which circumstances grow, he then becomes the rightful master of himself. Becomes the rightful master of himself. Come on, let's say that one more time, because that was a whole word too. This book ain't nothing but word. I mean, come on. It's a book of words. I mean, but I'm just saying. He dropping some jewels. He dropping some nuggets. Just saying. But when he realizes that he is a creative power and that he may command the hidden soil. Woo! What's the hidden soil? Yeah! Command the hidden soil and the seeds of his being, out of which circumstances grow. The seeds of his being, out of which circumstances grow. What kind of seeds you got up in your mind? Just saying. What kind of seeds you thinking on? We reap what we sow. You sowing seeds all the time, beloved. Seeds of your thoughts. What are you thinking? As a man thinks, so shall he be. Come on with this thing. Yes. Seeds of his being out of circumstances grow. You reap what you sow. He then becomes the rightful master of himself. So if you control your thoughts and what it is that you're sowing out of this mind space, oh yeah, you for sure become the rightful master of your own self, because everything is controlled by the mind. Father again says, be renewed by the renewing of your mind, And Father's got me pointing right here to that pineal, up in the top of the brain stem. Woo! That's, come on, Father, pull me back. Yes. That circumstances grow out of every thought. That circumstances grow out of thought. Every man knows who has for any length of time practice self-control. So if you practice self-control for any length of time, right, and self-purification, for he will have noticed that the alteration, the change in your circumstances has been in exact ratio with his altered mental condition. Woo, let's say that one more again. Okay? For he will have noticed that the alteration, the renewing of your mind, we just said renew your mind, right? For he will have noticed that the alteration in his circumstances has been in an exact ratio with his altered mental condition. So you change your mindset, beloved, and you will change your world. And the equal measure of the change in your mind is the equal measure that you will change in your world and your environment. That's what this is saying. Is that true, source? Okay. So if you change your mind, you change the results of your world. You change what you reveal. You change what you see. You change what you call in. That's why Father say don't sit on the fence with this thing. Because you can have like very mixed results. If you I'm talking about getting to par and balance with the Most High, bringing your will into alignment. That right there is a thing. But to be, whether some people are cold and some people are hot, right? Father says don't be lukewarm with it, because you will get mixed results. You're mixing the cold and the hot together pretty much. Is that right? Yeah. So if you're going to lean all the way into the hot to just like, I'm in it, I'm balls to wall, I'm changing, I'm flipping, I'm being conscious and cognizant about all these things, these thoughts that go through my head. We talked about the other day the ability to let that thought come up, see it, and let it roll past your mind like a cloud, like a reel. You can see it, you can read it almost, but don't attach to it. You read it, you see what it is, and you recognize what is it telling you. Do I have something in my heart space that I need to resolve, that I need to let go, that I need to bust up and break up so I can release it? I can transform and transmute this energy into something that's useful, right? That I can create with. And what I'm going to create is going to be good seed. I'm sowing good seed. That way the fruits that I get, my harvest, is good fruit for edification. Edification unto self and edification unto source. That what I could use to edify my community. And they too will be edified. So as we come together and unite, that edification is shown up real. And I believe that's what the whole thing about the Matrix was. And at the end of it, if y'all went and saw the last one, when Neo had to remember who he was, because he had been mentally brainwashed and had to come out of that, and then go find Trinity, who had been separated and mentally brainwashed and put into a whole nother different thing. And when they came back together, whoo! You talking about some cosmic power? That movie's so deep. I love that series. They knew what they was doing when they did that. Come on, y'all. Yeah. So true is this, that when a man earnestly applies himself to remedy the defects in his character and makes swift and marked progress, he passes rapidly through a succession of vicissitudes. You talking about getting your mind in mental alignment and staying steadfast in that, and you can see, I believe our text says the Lord will restore the years that the cankerworms ate. Now let's break that down. The Lord will restore to you the years that the cankerworms ate. So if you sitting there rotting and you not producing, that's like you in a dead state, a dead mind. And those cankerworms that come to decompose the dead, they come and they eat away at that time. They eat away at your flesh, your beingness. That is the parable, the lesson in that. But if you change and renew your mindset, that you can become new and reborn, in a sense, reborn in your mind, changing the mind, reborn in your mind. Right? And the Lord will restore onto you those years that the cankerworm ate. So, can you recover? Yes, absolutely. Will the Lord take you and put you right back to where you were supposed to be? The same opportunities that you think that you missed out on will be right there just for me. Keep on making a way, just for me. It happens. Why? Because you changed your mindset and you actually put some activating force and power, thought power, behind the intelligence. You allow the intelligence to work in your life in such a way that it actually accelerates your progress. It does. Anything that you focus on and you go after it, you be like, dang, because again, if you were in software design, IT, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We're talking about agility and increasing velocity over time. Yes, you perform that thing, you look at it, you think about it, and what do we do at the end of a sprint? It's called a sprint retrospect. That's when we get together as a development team, as the scrum master and the product owner, and we all sit there and we talk about how it was that last sprint went and what it is that we could do in order to improve our results. Did we overestimate? Did we underestimate? Did we take into account and actually, break down the work that needed to be done and quantify it in appropriate bites? Did we say that this story is worth 8 points and that story is worth 10 points when the 10-point story was really worth 12 and we bit off more than we could chew? That's what we do in a sprint retrospect, is it not? We look at what we performed and say, hey, how did we perform? Hey, how do we get better? You build in tests so that you can check the quality along the way. Before at the end of the day, you put out a minimum viable product that is useful to the client. And who's our client? The source. You. Is what you're putting out useful for you? Is it a minimum viable product that is useful and operational? Like you could use that thing right now. It may not have all the features on it that you want to. I mean, it could be this little small remote. 2 features. And does it work? And then my next iteration, and I'm building in tests to make sure that we have a solid definition of done when we get there. Because we defined it down to the details, to the socks, right? It's done. We defined it. And now it's got even more features. It looks like this one. Huh. Right? Both equally done. But one starting here, development to done. And this one ending here. Iterations, time. And then it took me a month to do this one, but then it only took me 3 weeks to do this one. Why? Because I'm standing on the lessons that we learned from here. And I'm building in test so at the same time so that we can improve ourselves, we can get faster. That's all Sprint is. That's what the infinite intelligence does. That is how we create everything. Yeah. That is why we have tests along the way, to test your knowledge, to test you, to make sure that what you're developing is quality, to see if you are on track towards your definition of done. Are you developing a minimum viable product? And what are the features of it? Is this your end result at the end of the day? Or are you trying to get to something a little bit more complicated? Maybe you're looking for that whole universal remote type of deal where it controls everything. Like my camera, my computer, my TV, my laptop, like it all like is fully integrated and comprehensive. And what about self-sustaining? Regenerative and recycling, because that's what you're riding around in. And it controls thought, and you can think. You're an operant that's in here. And you can work with yourself to control your thoughts, to see them, right? Because what you think is what you create. What you are meditating on daily, beloveds, what we are meditating on daily is what we create. If you only see the strife and conflict of life, and that is what you think about all day, that is your dominating thoughts. That is what you will create. That is what you will call into existence. Those are the seeds that you are sowing. If you flip that and realize that you are held in all of creation and it is magnificent, it is a wonder for you to be here, to see it, to recognize it, to sense it. That you ride around in a piece of technology that is the highest piece of technology on the plane. The AI of the day is you, beloved. That you have duality. That you are complicated yet highly simplistic all at the same time. Like the truth of it. The truth that you are seriously a spiritual being riding around in a vessel that you need to cooperate and collaborate with. Yeah, that we are to come into alignment with the will of the Most High God and perform a work that is why we came here. Heaven coming to earth to reside in earth, to do a work that you have no remembrance of the work that you are to do, and to discover self is to discover the work, the service, and then to get on the way about the business of your day. Because you only have now to do it. One thing we can do, Father recommends, is to pay attention to your thoughts. So as a man thinks, so he shall be. You can change what you're being by changing what you're thinking. Repentance. The changing and the renewing of your mind, beloved. What did Morpheus say? You gotta let it all go. Free your mind. What if everything that you've been taught about this plane was wrong? What if? Then we could see, of course, there's 3 dominant energies in this universe. seeking onto source for the source's sake, seeking just to discover and experience creation, and seeking to manipulate and dominate. I think that there was a representation of all of those in that series of movies. We do say art imitates life. We think about Star Wars and the Force. The breath of life is the Force. And people who meditate, strong yogis, yoganandas, who could tell us the old way and the force of the breath and what it does. Go back and see some of them videos and see what the force of life can and shall do when you surrender to it. Allow yourself to be a vessel that's here to be used by the Most High God. Because you came to do the work of the source. And the source feels you. And it fills all of us and animates us all with its force of life, the breath of life. And we all have the ability to tap into its intelligence. We do. So, what will you continue to think? Because a man is as he thinks. So if I believe and I know in my knower that I am connected to, made by, called by, commanded by, and surrendered onto the source of the Most High God, called and made by His infinite intelligence, and animated and filled with the force of life, what is it that I could not do, beloved? And using that thought process, I could accelerate my timeline. You think it's too late? It is not too late for you, beloved. You will make up every bit of that. Again, every year that the cankerworm ate. I hope y'all like how this came together today. I did too. I did. I thought it was good. Source came through and did that. It just is what it is. We pull some of everything. And sometimes it be cooking with cold Crisco. Like, we have to get it warmed up. Some days it get to frying. Some days it's just like, it's cold and we making a chili. We making a pot roast and we going to put it in a crock pot and it's going to simmer and steep all day till it get tender. Fall a bone. You know what I mean? We got to do it like that. Some of that good soul food down up in there. How do we feed it? These words. Feed your thoughts. This ain't but a look at this little bitty read. Look at it. You can do that in a day. But it's powerful. It's powerful, y'all. It's powerful. And it literally cost me less than $10 off of Amazon. $10. The price of intelligence. But what is the value of it? Far greater than rubies, pearls, gold, silver. It is the principal thing. It is. It is that Song of Solomon chapter 8. It is that Proverbs chapter 8. It is that Proverbs chapter 3. Just read them all. Intelligence is speaking to you. Wisdom is speaking to you. Will you give her a place to rest? Will you honor her? Will you honor wisdom, intelligence? You ain't got to go out there and get a whole bunch of degrees. They don't do nothing but tell you how you got to think anyway. For as much tuition as, not to discourage anybody that's on that path, do you, boo. Do you. I got one too. I got 2 of them and working on a 3rd. Not for sure if I'm going to finish it because it's like, why? I could spend $20,000 worth of books. How many books if that's going to be when this right here cost me $10? I don't know. Spirit is saying that might be a better investment. We'll see. I'm going to finish up a little bit more reading before we have to hit the other 9 to 5 or whatever the case may be. And until the next now with your girl Lottie on Tears and Wheat to Rose show. I got to take these off. I don't know why I did that. That little circle thing getting on my nerve. But until the next now, with your girl Lati. I hope you come back around. I really do. I have a great time with y'all. I love y'all. I love you. I love you so much. I love you just like I love me. I do. I love me because I love the source, the principal thing, the source, the most high, and his breath of life that called and connects all of us. Oh, I love that. Yeah, and you're a piece of it just as I am. So I love you. I love you just like that. Until the next now on Tears and Wheat to Rose show with your girl, Lati. We gonna call this a Ashe. Mwah.